Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk a little bit just about the Supreme Court ruling that ruled in favor of Trump to build his wall by using monies which has not been allocated by Congress. And while, of course, I thoroughly disagree with that decision, the real question is what is the purpose that the wall would serve other than trying to politically motivate his base? Excuse me. Um, and so what at least Trump claims the purpose will be is to stop all the people from generally Central America illegally coming into the United States. So let me tell you, first of all, what it is that the majority of people that are trying to come in from Central America are applying for, and why the wall will be ineffective, why it just won't work. So first of all, the law allows people who qualify under certain conditions to apply for asylum. It doesn't guarantee they're going to win asylum, but it guarantees the right that if they're being persecuted for various reasons in their home country, that they can apply for asylum. So there is nothing that a wall will do that is going to stop people from applying for asylum, because the reality is these people who have traveled all this way to try to escape the terrors of their home country and the persecution, they literally walk legally into the United States at a port of entry and they say, I want to apply for asylum. That's what they do. There's no wall at the port of entry. So what happens is they are then either put in detention, upon which an asylum officer will come and give them what's called a credible fear interview, at which point that asylum officer will determine if this person has a real fear of persecution and whether it's based on asylum, one of the grounds of asylum, race, gender, social group, and so forth, nationality. And then, if so, the case will be transferred to the immigration court for a full-fledged asylum hearing, where there'll be different hearings, a trial, and ultimately the judge will agree or disagree the person should get asylum. And at the point that the credible fear interview would be completed, and if approved, then what my firm does is then we can request either the person be paroled into the United States legally, or they get some kind of bond and so forth, so that they can fight their case while being, um, you know, essentially not in detention. Another item, or another path that they could take, is that they would apply for asylum, and then there's still cases on whether this is lawful or not, but then the United States essentially sends them to Mexico to wait their turn to fight the case, and then they just wait in Tijuana or wherever they can in Mexico until their case is heard or brought before the judge. And so either way, they're not uh, they're not trying to climb over a wall to stop this. Additionally, there's lots and lots of statistics that shows that the people whom Trump is trying to stop either come through legally through some false means, they have false papers, false passport, false whatever, or they come legally and then they stay illegally. So the whole premise of this wall to stop the influx of people from Central America applying for asylum just won't work. And the fact is that if somebody is being persecuted in their home country, if they're afraid for their life, if they're either being tortured or imprisoned by their their spouse, or the police force, or by some groups which the government can't control. We've already seen this. They still are going to come to America to apply for asylum. No matter how hard Trump makes it, they're still going to do that. And so in this particular regard, I just want you to understand that just because the Supreme Court ruled that Trump can use funds not allocated to build a wall, that is not going to have the effect upon which it is that he is claiming, and that asylum is still open. He, being Trump, cannot revoke asylum. That has to go through Congress. And then even then there's issues because there's international treaties which the United States has signed on to where, we, the United States, cannot return someone to their home country under the Convention Against Torture if it can be shown, more than 50% that would happen. And so we're still a party to that treaty. Asylum law is still in effect, and everything can still go forward regardless if a wall is being built or not. So if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming weeks. Thank you.